Welcome to Rapid Fitty, where the drama is as thick as sweet tea and everybody hiding something. Let me introduce you to the messiest calf you'll ever love. First up, Jasmine, Scorpio, drama queen. She'll throw a party and a tantrum in the same breath. But her picture perfect life child, yeah, is all smoke and mirrors. Then you have Jasmine's husband, Michael. He's raised by a single mom, but he ain't no mama's boy. Let's just say he be juggling more than just his work and his home life, okay? Sierra's the fan favorite, and ain't no wonder why, cause she been through it all, baby. Trauma, triumph, and a toxic fan base called the Mirage, and they will send it up for Sierra. And don't sleep on Darius, our mastermind producer. He's given opportunities to black subbing stars, but he just playing chess like everybody else is stuff on checkers. Watch him. This season, secrets get exposed, alliances will shift, and everybody ain't gonna make it to the end. But trust me, Rocket City does not disappoint, baby. Subscribe to Love and Rocket City and join the chaos. The drama is just getting started.
What is going on, pop stars? Good afternoon. Welcome to an impromptu live with your girl, Unpopular Opinion. Welcome to the Opinion Nation, y'all. I hope everybody is doing well. Spring is near. In some of our cities, the weather is breaking a little bit, but then it break right back. But we holding on. Warm weather is on the horizon, y'all. Happy to be back here with y'all this afternoon. So I had a few minutes and I have had all of the intentions of doing a Love and Rocket City marathon for folks who have not had a chance to get over here and actually watch it. And for those of y'all who are already hooked, to get up here and ask questions, engage a little bit, have some influence on how the story is going to turn out. I am doing all of the graphics and the voiceover for the most recent episode. And it's getting more and more intense as the time goes on. And although I'm transitioning everything over to TikTok with the actual launch, so I've launched the mid-season trailer, which so far has gotten about 2,500 views or so. And so I'm again just rolling this out, using y'all as a focus group, and then just building it out over there on TikTok and on Patreon. And so shout out to everybody who is an executive producer over there on the Patreon. It's fun, and it has been fun. What's up, Living for Me 75? She said, come on in, grab a seat, and let's enjoy the show. Hey, Symmetry. Hey, Gail. Hey, CYT 3805. So before I really get into it, I do have a couple of other things that I want to kind of real quick touch on. And I'm happy that y'all are here. We are 6 minutes in. We'll get into the marathon at the 10-minute mark or so. But I just wanted to tap in real quick, y'all. I have been, watching all the things. Well, not all of it, but child, what I can. That has been happening out in the space. And I got an opinion. I got a little minor opinion. It ain't gonna really shake up nothing, but I got a little bit of an opinion. So I'm gonna share it with y'all, because why not? Right? So let's do that. Y'all. Hey, Fabra. So this is just what I want to say. Y'all know, being on YouTube, it hasn't quite been a year yet, but being on YouTube, y'all have heard me say, those of y'all who are pop stars from day one, y'all have heard me, if y'all can keep up, because y'all follow a lot of people, but if y'all can recall me consistently trying to figure out what the rules are, right? What are the rules of YouTube? And y'all know, when I finally kind of settled on what I thought the rules were, which was anything for clicks and views. I think that all of the turn of events of all the things has just reconfirmed that for me, right? Remember how I always told y'all that it don't even matter what the truth is, it just matters what you believe. All of that stuff is still relevant. It's all still relevant. And since we on the wave of letting stuff be and moving on. I just wanted to tap back in with that little piece of commentary that when you go across YouTube, I didn't even know that there was anything called a sector, right? Um, you just see what pops up in your feed and you watch it and you move on, right? I didn't know have this concept of a sector. When I was originally watching the couple of folks that I watched who review Love and Marriage Huntsville, they didn't even really allude to there being a sector. I would come on, listen to the reviews, and then it would just end and it would just move on. I started to kind of get curious because folks in the chat would, that I liked in the chat, found out that they had a channel. And then that's when kind of like the web grew of just like being in the chat and vibing with folks in the chat, or you're agreeing with people in the chat, and then finding out that those folks had a channel, then going over and then supporting. And then the more you kind of branched out, it took you to kind of like the outskirts of the situation. And then you find out that there's this thing called a quote unquote sector. And apparently the rule is that once you've kind of either voluntarily or involuntarily joined said sector, that you automatically know the rules. And the rules are, if you're going to be on one side, if you're going to be a millimeter or not, because the not group is not necessarily all in agreement of who they pro for, right? So either you are a diehard meter or you are not, right? And so all of the not, have the whole thing, right? And so all of it is fueled by the same thing, which is drama, hate. I'm gonna say hate. Bullshit, mostly bullshit. And I think that that's what makes it a sector instead of a bunch of people who talk about similar topics, right? Because I think that there is a difference between people who talk about similar topics and the thing that everybody is calling a sector. And I think that that's the part that it will be helpful to understand as we are moving forward with this, y'all. Because I think that that's really what it is. Hold on one second. The dog want to go out. Yeah, so I just wanted to give that little bit of commentary, y'all, that I think that this whole thing is about this sector piece. And, I'm familiar with people talking about the beef sector. And a lot of these folks came from said sector where I guess they just like went in on each other and talked crazy and wild about each other. And I guess they were doing just a lot of like verbal assaults on each other. And that was the goal. And that was the point. And so that has then merged over with the Love and Marriage Huntsville of it all. And then that's just what people do. Like, I'm going to pick on you so that it starts a backlash. And then we all going to get clicks and views off of the backlash, because that's what we all here for, is to just have bullshit, argue. And then the weird thing is, at some point later on, folks become cool again. And then like the alliances reshift. It's like redrawing the map. Like, it's just weird. And so yeah, that's my take on that. And I'm just saying that's pretty much what it looked like it has been. I think that is unfortunate though, to see how the stuff really plays out, because when it's happening over on the quote unquote dark side, I don't have any visibility into that because I don't know none of them people and I don't follow any of them. So I just hear about they beef second and third and fourth and fifth hand. But I think that it's been interesting to watch it play out in real time with folks who I do watch, and that I do have a little bit of inside information about, right? And to just know how wild it is where folks will literally just make up problems, like out of thin air. and then like go hard on said made up problems to the point that it actually causes real life problems for people. And then just enjoy looking at view. Because I'm looking at some views up into the fives and nines and 10,000s where said folks was getting 900 views before, 1,000 views before, right? And so now you see what the people like. And I think that that's what it's all about. You know, this is what you got to do to get 9,000 views, right? When things kind of dry up, that's what you got to do. You got to make it sexy. And unfortunately, that's the type of stuff that people like for one way or another. They either like it because it's interesting, and it helps the day pass by, or they like it because people that they hate are getting into it. And I don't blame the millimeter side for talking about it or doing any of that, because I think that of all the times they've all fallen out, people do the same thing, right? That ain't the issue. The issue is the fact that it's all just it's make believe. And a lot of it just doesn't make any sense. And y'all know I'm gonna find a way to work it into Love in Rocket City, right? Because here's what y'all may not know. Love in Rocket City is listen, we're gonna do our marathon, but I'm getting y'all primed and prepped. Um, it really is a spin-off of Love and Marriage Huntsville, in the sense that a lot of the themes, a lot of the personalities, a lot of the inner workings, like the stuff that we all talk about on the lives, everybody's take on what's going on and everybody's opinion and all that stuff. I've taken a lot of that, most of it actually, and weaved it into an actual story. Mostly because I found the shit to be fun, because I was low key getting a little bored with how the storylines don't usually go nowhere. So I'm like, you know what? If I was the executive producer, if I was the showrunner, I could do this better. And so Love in Rocket City is basically my brainchild, right, y'all? Of like, okay, if I were to take all this stuff and really pull some storylines out of this, merge it with a little true crime feel, merge it with a little bit of drama, a little scripted, whatever. Like, what might that look like? Thank you, Gail. And that's what Love in Rocket City is. It was really truly a way to engage. It's like sugar-free LAMH sector, right? Sugar-free LAMH. It means all the same drama, but better. But it's fictional, so it ain't really gossiping. Right? Because it ain't gossip if the characters are fictional. So it's getting the drama fixed without any of the harm. Right? And so that's what we're getting into. CY3805 says, in the KJ sector, child, I don't know what that means. I don't know if I want to know. Back then, they played them same games. Majority of them were family creating BSBs while collecting coins for views and cash apps. Girl, I 100% feel that that's what it is. Get canned goods, beans, long term check on your family. Make sure you get batteries. Okay. But that is definitely really Kanika Jenkins. Interesting. We'll have to talk about that one. CYT3805. They are, that's true. They are fake. That is it's but they're real live breathing actors and actresses associated with them. And Love in Rocket City, there's not. So we can talk as bad as we want to about these folks, but it ain't gonna go nowhere. So let's just go ahead and get into it, y'all. We are at the 17-minute mark. Let's start off with just a real quick 1-2, get y'all palates wet for what we about to get into, because I'm really excited for this little marathon. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, I didn't download it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold on one second. Yeah, as soon as you want to do something fun, that's when the damn thing give you issues, right? But that's okay. Don't act like you don't play MP4 files. Okay, here we go.
Have you ever felt like you're being watched? Like someone is always 2 steps ahead of you? People think they know me, but they only see what I let them see. I don't know where I am. I don't know what day it is, but I know why they took me.
This is TV, baby. Play your part or get played.
They're not asking for revenge. They're not asking for money. They say they're doing this for her.
Where is Jasmine? So that is really what the Love and Rocket City is about, y'all. We have several characters, y'all, and I'm gonna real quickly go through them from left to right, and then we're gonna get into the very first episode, which is really, really short, and then we're gonna have some commentary about it. So from the left to right, we have shit, I forgot this girl name because I barely even see them. Malik and Kendra. So Kendra is this light-skinned lady towards the back, really beautiful, arch eyebrows, and then her husband is Malik. So Kendra and Malik, they're kind of secondary characters. We don't really get in too much of their backstory in this first season, but there's more to come about them. If I had to relate them to a Love and Marriage Huntsville character, this would be the Kimmy and the Maurice. Kendra is an entrepreneur. She's very successful, college educated, obviously. Malik is in sports management and sports marketing. He has a business with Michael, who is the real fine chocolate brother over here to the right with the little pocket square. They went to Morehouse together with the executive producer, Darius. Darius is the one in the turtleneck. So the 3 Black men that y'all see on the screen, all of them went to college together. They went to Morehouse. During the time, and this is backstory that you can only get on Patreon, but I'm going to break it down for y'all just so that y'all know who the relationships of all the people. So Malik has a business with Michael. They are in sports management and sports marketing. Darius in the turtleneck is the executive producer / creator of Love and Rocket City. He is the Carlos King of the matter. Okay. He has always been a little shady. So when they were in college, y'all, get this. All 3 of them were real cool. The 3 M's of LAMH. Yes, you got Malik, Michael, and Darius, though. Okay, so we missed it with the M's. Darius is the D. And so they went to Morehouse. They were all really good friends. Michael was very charismatic. Michael is the Martell of the group. Again, he's the one in the tie. He was very charismatic. He did play sports for a little bit of time, but he was kind of like, everybody liked him. He had a really good personality. Folks kind of flocked to him. Malik was the actual real athlete of the group. And so he was injured, so he didn't actually go pro. But he did build like this really big sports management, sports marketing business that he and Michael have together. Okay. Now, we don't really get into much of their business in this season, but there are some crumbs left. Okay, you can pick up some of the crumbs throughout the episodes because there is a conflict with the business. There's some stuff happening with the business that we don't quite get into. Y'all will find out more about that in the future. But Darius although he was friends, this is the Carlos King of it all, Darius has always been shady. So they kind of fell out with Darius because when they were in college, they had a friend who was running for student government president. And Darius wanted to be student government president. And Darius did some real low down, dirty, foul shit to the other friend of theirs who was running. And Malik and Michael checked, like they clocked him for that. They were like, oh, okay, you really is a dirty motherfucker. No, thank you. So they kind of fell out behind that. So they moved on with their adulthood and they weren't as close because they saw Darius for what he was. He just kind of like he manipulative, do anything to get ahead. He'll walk on folks to get ahead. And so they weren't really fooling with him. Okay. So that's kind of the backstory between the three men. Now y'all know Trent. So Trent don't have nothing to do with this, but the three of them went to school together. And that's the thing. Now, Darius knows a lot about Malik and Michael. He knows quite a bit about them. He also knows the situation that they got going on from the business. Okay. So just keep that in y'all back pocket. Keep in mind that Darius is also manipulative. He do anything to get ahead. He ain't to be trusted. You got to watch him. Okay. So that's the three dudes, how they all link together. Hold on a second. So then you have Sierra. This is the girl in the hoodie. So Sierra is a social media influencer. She is real big on mental health and self-care, and she has like this crazy following. People love her. Y'all said Darius D instead of Carlos. Y'all call him Darlos, remember? So Sierra is a social media influencer. She has a massive following. She has a huge cult fan base called the Mirage. Get it? Sierra, like the desert, the Mirage. Okay, so her fan base is called the Mirage. They're a little nuts. Okay. They love Sierra. They'll do anything to protect Sierra. You can always find them doing too much on the internet. They all on YouTube, child. They all over TikTok. They all over Twitter. And all they do is kick up a bunch of bullshit behind this show, Love and Rocket City. So all of them are characters or on a reality TV show. Okay. Sierra's rabid ass fan base called the Mirage are always kind of pressing and getting on people's nerves. Okay. They love her because they think that she is basically has been through a lot, because she has like this background story where she's gone through a lot of trauma and a lot of different things that she's basically used authentically to build her fan base. So her people are very protective of her. So Darius found her not just because she was a big social media influencer. There's some other reasons why he picked her to be on this show. But he has found a way to basically use all of that to his advantage for the show. Right. So he knows that she has this crazy fan base. And he uses it to his advantage. Okay. So Sierra gets a lot of airtime on Love and Rocket City, mostly because she has the largest platform. So if I had to say that Sierra was anyone on Love and Marriage Huntsville, Sierra is a mixture of Melody and Destiny. Okay, so as far as the Melody of it all, she's the one that has the fan base. Okay, but every other kind of touch point is reminiscent of a Destiny type character. Okay, and then you have the girl in the middle, Jasmine. She's the one who's missing. Okay, Jasmine is missing. We don't know where she is. Whatever. She's married to Michael, who is the Martell character. Now, Jasmine, we don't hear a lot of first person from her because throughout the entire series so far, we don't know where she is. Okay, there are little glimpses of her. There's some flashbacks. There are some foreshadowings. If you're on Patreon, you did get a little bit of her voice and her perspective because there's a scene that I released in writing, just in chapter form. So you get an idea of like what she's dealing with. She's also narrating the mid-season trailer that I just showed y'all. That is from Jasmine's voice. She's married to Michael. She is Melody's character 100% minus the fan base. Okay, so she is the way that she's described is, she can be a little manipulative. She's kind of high strung. She really wants like success, like all of the ways that we've kind of described Melody's character in her character analysis that I did. That's Jasmine. Okay. The only thing that's missing is that she doesn't have a fan base. So imagine, y'all, if you just put it into Love and Marriage Huntsville, imagine if Destiny had the big fan base. Imagine that. Imagine if everything else remained constant, but we took the millimeters away from Melody and we gave Destiny a fan base like that. How might that look? Right? We're going to get into it. You're going to see. Last but not least, we have Trent. Okay, Trent got on the pink glasses. All y'all know Trent. He was y'all favorite character when the series first dropped. He would come down in the comments, talk crazy, y'all. Trent has an actual YouTube page in real life called Trent is Live. Okay. Okay, so that has always been fun. Trent is the messy YouTuber because we got to have a messy YouTuber. You got to. How are you gonna talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville and not have a messy ass YouTuber? Now, I promise y'all that I did not model Trent after any specific person. It is just a coincidence that Trent has turned into more of one person than the others. That was not on purpose. All I'm doing is taking all the themes and all the pieces, y'all, putting it together, and then the shit is just kind of playing out how it's gonna play out. But Trent is the messy YouTuber. He is always around stirring the pot for the ratings, but he got some connections too. He got a connection to Darius, the mastermind producer. He has a love-hate relationship with Sierra because her fans be dragging him. And he just really do anything for clicks and views. Okay, that's Trent. Okay, so I got y'all set up. What questions do y'all have? Because that's really the landscape. So here's the plot this season. The plot is Jasmine is missing. Okay, that's the plot. Where is she? What happened to her? Who did it? Okay, and as we're getting into that, you all learn a lot more about all of the characters. So this is chapter 1, Behind Closed Doors.
Camera panned across the extravagant dinner party. Crystal glasses catching the light, laughter ringing throughout the grandiose mansion. But beneath the polished veneer, tension simmered among the cast of Love and Rocket City. The stars of the show, usually inseparable in their scripted rivalries and over-the-top drama, were now far too familiar with each other's secrets, wounds, and insecurities. At the center of it all was Jasmine, poised, captivating, and calculating. Jasmine could make you love her one minute and hate her the next. As the season's queen bee, she reveled in the spotlight, but tonight something was different. Usually scanning the room for weaknesses to exploit, were fixated on Michael, her husband. A silence hung between them, thicker than the laughter echoing around them. Michael shifted uncomfortably. His good looks and charm had helped him rise in the ranks of the reality TV world. But tonight, they weren't enough to shield him from Jasmine's icy glare. He had been slipping. Late nights, distracted mornings, and Jasmine had had enough. Their marriage, once the bedrock of their reality TV persona, was beginning to. The tension broke when Jasmine stood, her heels clicking sharply on the marble floor. You think I don't know what's been going on, Michael? Think again. She spat, her voice low and venomous. She grabbed her glass of wine, but the moment was lost as the guests grew quiet, their eyes darting between the two. Michael's face faltered, but he quickly recovered. "Jasmine, calm down," he said, his voice thick with frustration. But she was already walking away. "I'm done," she muttered, her words barely audible as she stormed out onto the terrace. The sound of the glass door slamming shut reverberated through the mansion. The crew, caught off guard by the abrupt departure, exchanged nervous glances. This wasn't part of the script. Darius, the ambitious executive producer, tried to steady the chaos, his hands moving in practiced gestures to keep things on track. But there was something in the air tonight. Something had shifted. Sierra watched the scene unfold from a distance, her serene expression hiding a storm of mixed emotions. Jasmine's tirades had become a fixture of their lives, but this one felt different. For a moment, Sierra considered following her outside, but Darius's voice broke her focus. "She good," Darius muttered, leaning against the bar with his signature smirk. "Knows how to keep the spotlight even when it's slipping." Sierra glanced at him sharply. "You think this is an act?" He shrugged, sipping his drink. "Isn't it always?" Hours passed and Jasmine did not return. Her absence began to feel more than just a dramatic exit. It felt like something was seriously wrong. The crew's nervous energy rippled through the mansion, but Darius maintained his cool exterior. He had seen stars make scenes for the cameras before, but something actually unsettled him. Then, Trent's latest video dropped. "Is Jasmine really gone, y'all, or is this another stunt?" His voice rang out through the screen in the mansion's editing bay. "Michael's got a lot of secrets, y'all, and let's just say Jasmine ain't the kind of woman who's just gonna disappear unless somebody makes her." The video quickly went viral, setting off a frenzy online. The episode closed on a chilling shot of Jasmine's phone, left abandoned on her vanity. The screen flickered to life, a single text lighting up the screen. "I've had enough."
And that is episode 1. So you all see how we kicked it off, y'all. Free Jasmine. You see how we kicked it off. Jasmine is missing. They're at the cast party. It's the end of the season. It's the season finale. Jasmine is sitting there staring at Michael. We know that he been slipping late nights, late mornings. So y'all can kind of like piece together that she suspects that Michael is having an affair. He's sleeping around. So she confronts him about it. They have a little altercation. She storms off. That is really how the whole thing kicks off, y'all. And it gets better. It gets better.
Rocket City buzzed under the sweltering summer sun, its tidy streets hiding secrets too heavy to hold. Sierra adjusted her sunglasses as she strolled in to gather, the chic cafe where the cast of Love and Rocket City often met. Her serene demeanor betrayed none of the storm swirling in her head. Jasmine was gone, not in her usual way, disappearing for a day or two to nurse her pride after one of her dramatic meltdowns. This time, she was truly missing.
The show's reunion episode was just a week away, and the production team was panicked. Darius, the mastermind producer, had already spun the narrative into overdrive. "Keep calm," he told them in the last meeting. "We'll weave this into the story. It's tragic, but it's compelling." His voice carried that polished confidence that always made you second guess your gut.
Sierra had been quiet during that meeting, watching as her castmates speculated about Jasmine's whereabouts. She's probably shacked up somewhere having a pity party, Malik had said with a smirk, his wife Kendra nudging him sharply in the ribs. Michael, Jasmine's husband, had said little, his jaw tight and his eyes betraying something. Guilt? Anger? The Mirage, Sierra's rabid online fan base, had already decided he was involved. Inside Gather, Sierra spotted Trent, seated in a corner, his laptop open, earbuds in, and his brow furrowed. He was likely editing another scathing commentary video about Jasmine. The two of them had clashed on and off the show, but Trent's sharp wit and unapologetic critiques were oddly endearing when he wasn't aiming them at her. For now, the Mirage had left him alone, as he'd recently praised Sierra for her latest mental health initiative, a series of Instagram lives tackling anxiety and self-doubt. Got a sec? She asked, sliding into the seat opposite him. Trent looked up, a flicker of surprise crossing his face before he pulled out his earbuds.
For you, sure,
He said, his tone guarded. Any thoughts on the situation? Sierra asked, keeping her voice light. Trent tilted his head, a knowing smile tugging at his lips. You mean Jasmine pulling her disappearing act, or the fact that Darius is practically salivating over the ratings boost? Sierra didn't answer immediately.
Instead, she stirred her coffee.
Her mind replaying the last interaction she'd had with Jasmine. It had been at the season finale. Jasmine's voice sharp as she accused Sierra of stealing her spotlight. Sierra had laughed it off at the time, but there had been something venomous in Jasmine's tone. Do you think she's okay? Sierra finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Trent leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. Honestly, no, but let's not pretend everyone doesn't have a reason to want her gone. Sierra flinched, the words cutting through her. Trent wasn't wrong. Jasmine had built her entire persona on being the queen bee, but that crown had come at a cost. She'd alienated nearly everyone around her, leaving a trail of resentment in her wake. Even Michael, who once seemed utterly devoted, had grown distant.
Be careful, Trent said, uncharacteristically serious. People will love to build you up, but they'll love tearing you down even more.
Sierra nodded. Her fingers tightened around her cup. Trent might be an antagonist in her story, but he wasn't wrong. As the Mirage continued to dominate the show's subreddit with theories and accusations, Sierra knew one thing for sure. Rocket City wasn't big enough for the truth and the lies to coexist. Back at the mansion, the production crew had uncovered something chilling. Jasmine's car keys were still on the foyer table, and a single earring lay beneath a chase. Darius stared at the items, his mind racing. This wasn't a typical dramatic exit. Check the footage, he barked to the nearest assistant. The mansion was rigged with cameras, the lifeblood of the show. But Darius had always known where to draw the line between capturing drama and maintaining plausible deniability. Now,
Sorry. Damn it. Wait. I apologize, y'all.
might reveal, or if he even wanted to know. As the assistant scurried away, Michael walked in.
His face concerned. Did you find anything? Darius turned, his eyes narrowing. You shouldn't be in here, Mike. Michael ignored Darius.
His gaze fixed on the earring in Darius's hand. That's hers, isn't it? What do you think? Darius replied, his voice icy. Michael opened his mouth to speak, but hesitated. Before he could muster a response, Malik and Kendra entered, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and concern. What's going on? Kendra asked.
Her voice tinged with suspicion. Nothing you need to worry about, Darius said sharply.
Slipping the earring into his pocket. We're handling it. But the tension in the room was palpable, and Sierra, watching from a distance, felt a shiver run down her spine.
Breaking news.
Meanwhile, Trent uploaded a new video later that evening, the title as provocative as ever. The Queen Bee vanishes. What really happened to Jasmine? In it, he dissected the dynamics of the cast, speculating on motives and pointing out inconsistencies in their public statements. Michael's silence is deafening, he said, pausing for dramatic effect. And let's not forget Darius. He's a puppet master if there ever was one. But the real question is, who benefits from Jasmine's disappearance? Follow the money. The video racked up thousands of views within hours, and the comment section was ablaze with theories. The Mirage chimed in, of course, defending Sierra, and accusing Trent of stirring the pot for clout and clicks. As the night deepened, Sierra sat in her room, scrolling through the chaos. The pressure was building, and she could feel it. Jasmine's disappearance wasn't just a storyline. It was a reckoning, and everyone in Rocket City would have to face it sooner or later.
So Gail said that we need to have a food truck in the next season, that the filler cast members need a business. Now, you know, working in a food truck may not be a bad idea. You know what else we still need? We still need a mama character. Somebody's mama need to be involved. And you know, y'all were like, no, we need more than one messy YouTuber because this YouTuber needs somebody to fight with. You know, we had talked about that too. So as y'all kind of like feel this out, I wonder if we do need another YouTuber. I don't know. There's enough drama going on without one, but y'all have some really good ideas on that. And this food truck thing, I might be able to work that in there. I just might be able to do it. Good idea, Gail. Good idea. Huh.
Darius's office was humming with energy, the kind that made him feel alive and on edge at the same time. Outside, the soundstage bustled with movement, voices echoing through the hall like a soundtrack to his thoughts. He took a deep breath, adjusted his watch, and positioned himself behind the desk. This was his stage, and he knew how to play his part. The door opened, and Jasmine walked in first. Her presence filled the room like a spark looking for something to ignite. Darius, she said, her voice full of unspoken questions and anticipation. So what's the pitch? She wasn't even fully seated before the words spilled out, her eagerness palpable. I mean, we're ready. We've been ready. But I need to hear how this is different. What's going to make us the next big thing? Darius held up a hand, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Hold up, Jasmine. Let me set the scene first. Michael walked in behind her, quieter, but not unnoticed.
Now, y'all, this is where you all will see, this is a flashback of how Jasmine and Michael were brought on to the show. Okay. Now, you all will see the dynamics of Mel and Martell in this. Think back to what we heard, that initial conversation between Carlos and the two of them, of how they were brought on to Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is my recreation of that scene in the world of Love in Rocket City. Okay, now pay attention to the dynamics between Jasmine and Michael. Is going to sound very, very familiar. Okay, all right.
He nodded at Darius, took his seat, and glanced at Jasmine like he was going to gauge her temperature. Darius clapped his hands together, leaning forward. All right, y'all, here's the vision. This ain't just another show. This is a movement, a cultural reset. I'm talking about the kind of reality TV that doesn't just entertain. It hits people where they live. They're going to see themselves in y'all, the good, the bad, and the messy. Jasmine leaned forward, her eyes wide. Messy, huh? So you want drama. Not just drama, Darius corrected, his tone calm but commanding. I want truth. People don't connect with perfect. They connect with real. And y'all have real stories, real chemistry. That's what's going to pull them in. Michael shifted in his seat, skeptical. And what happens when real goes too far? You're asking us to let the world into our lives, but how much control do we really have? Darius nodded, acknowledging the question. Fair. Let me be straight with y'all. I'm not here to expose you. I'm here to elevate you. The camera sees what you let it see, but the more open you are, the more people will root for you. Jasmine was already nodding, her mind racing ahead. I get it. They need to feel us, like really feel us. That's how we win. That's how we stay relevant. Michael glanced at her, his expression softening as he saw her excitement. I don't know. Sounds like a lot to risk for a TV show. Darius leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. It's not just a TV show, Michael. It's a platform, an investment in your brand, your future. Y'all are stars. I'm just giving you the stage. The room fell quiet. Tension thick in the air. Jasmine turned to Michael, her voice soft but urgent. This is it, babe. This is how we stop waiting for opportunities and start making them. Michael sighed, his shoulders relaxing a little bit. All right, let's do it. But Darius, if this goes left, it won't, Darius interrupted with a grin, standing up to shake Michael's hand. This is gonna be big. I promise. As they left, Darius watched them go, a spark of triumph lighting up his chest. He just secured his key players. Now came the hard part, making sure they didn't regret it.
The sun was setting over Rocket City, casting long shadows on the manicured lawns of the city's wealthier neighborhoods. Inside her stylish living room, Sierra sat on her couch, scrolling through Twitter with a glass of red wine in hand. Her mentions were in flames again. She sighed, setting the glass down carefully on the table, which was cluttered with old scripts, notebooks, and an untouched charcuterie board. The Mirage, her fiercely loyal yet problematic fan base, was at it again. One tweet caught her eye. Trent's low comments about Sierra need to stop. We're watching you. Keep her name out of your mouth. Hashtag protect Sierra. Sierra groaned, dragging a hand down her face. Why do they always have to go so hard? She muttered. Her phone buzzed, and she glanced at the screen. It was a text from Jasmine. Jasmine. Girl, you see this mess with Trent? Sierra rolled her eyes, but replied anyway. I know. The Mirage won't let it go. It's getting out of hand. Before she could put the phone down, it buzzed again. This time, a call from Darius. She hesitated for a second, then picked it up. What's up, D? Sierra, we've got a problem, he said, his voice steady but urgent. Let me guess. Trent. Bingo. He just posted another video and the Mirage is already eating it up. It's good for the show, but we need to get ahead of this before it gets ugly. Sierra leaned back against the couch. What do you want me to do about it? I can't control what they say. You can't control them, but you can redirect them, Darius said, his tone firm. We need you to say something, not to calm them down, but to steer the narrative. Let's use this moment to deepen your connection with your fans while shutting Trent down. Sierra pinched the bridge of her nose. Darius, I'm tired of always having to clean up the mess. It's exhausting. I get it, he said, his voice softening just a touch. But this is the game we're in. And like it or not, the Mirage is part of your brand. If you don't address it, they'll take it further. And then it is out of your hands. Sierra sighed, knowing he was right. The Mirage was loyal but volatile, and their antics often overshadowed her actual work. Fine, she relented. I'll put something out later tonight. But I'm not going to spend my life babysitting them. That's all I need, Darius said, satisfaction creeping into his voice. Keep it short, keep it classy, and make it clear that you're above the drama. Yeah, Sierra replied, hanging up before he could say more. She stared at her phone for a moment, debating whether to scroll through more tweets or just toss it across the room. Instead, she opened her notes app and began typing a statement.
Now, that's one key way that I think things would be different if Destiny had the crazy fan base, is that you all see in this re-envisioning that Sierra is actually conflicted with the support that she gets, right? Like she never really seems totally happy about it. There's not a moment in any of the chapters thus far where she is celebrating the fandom behind her. It's like she respects them, but she also, well, not respects. I think that she appreciates them, but she has issues with how crazy they act. Like she's deeply conflicted by it. We never saw that with Melody, right? Like at least not outwardly. We never saw her have any sort of conflict with the way that her fan base advocated for her. And this is different in this series. So that's one way that you'll see a difference. It's like, how does this Destiny version of this character handle having a fan base? Like, what are some of the decisions that she makes that we didn't see in the original show, right? Like, there are some key things that she does differently. I'm not saying that she is like an innocent person, because no one is innocent in this damn show, whether it's Love in Rocket City or Love in Marriage Huntsville, but everybody got their reasons for why they're doing what they're doing. Like, everybody's motivations are there, right? It's not a thing of like perfection. But this Mirage thing gives her pause. But you can see how Darius is also kind of pressing her, like, look, don't keep it going. It's good for the show. Like, because he sees them as viewers and he sees them as bringing in the views and bringing in the drama. And you need that to keep a show going. So that's how you can kind of see the differences. The Melody was tired of it as well. She probably was, and I haven't tracked her since she left, but we didn't get to see that. Like, it would have been nice to get some sort of view into that. And you'll see some of the things that that Sierra is going to do as it relates to the Mirage, where if you're paying attention, you would get an idea that she wasn't entirely cool with it. Meaning, if you were in this world, in the Love and Rocket City world, and you were watching her social media, you would probably get a clue that she wasn't 100% into what they were doing. Agree, she would take the initiative if it was her deranged, unhinged fans. Right. And you heard her say to Darius, what do you want me to do about it? Like, I can't control what they do. And he said, you can't control it, but you can get ahead of it. Like, we can set the narrative. If you get ahead of it now, you can control it better. Otherwise, they're going to go off the rails. And I get a sense, even though I wrote it, I get a sense that she's feeling oppressed by this fan group, and even more so oppressed by Darius kind of like forcing her to manage it for the show. Now, keep in mind, Darius is manipulative. He has a reason for all the things that he does. Okay. So, no, and here's the other thing. There's no one on this show here because they want to be at this point. Okay. So we're still in a flashback. When you get to the present of Love and Rocket City, none of them are really truly there because they want to be on the show. Right? Like, that's just the truth. Clue. So Jasmine texted her after disappearing, even after dropping her phone. That was not Jasmine who texted. Someone texted Jasmine. That text that we saw was to her phone. She left her phone. That was someone else texting her. Yeah. That was someone else who texted Jasmine. Someone texted Jasmine, I've had enough. Jasmine wasn't saying that. Someone sent that to her. Yep.
Breaking news.
Meanwhile, across town, Trent was sitting in his minimalist apartment, bathed in the glow of his ring light. His latest video was already racking up views. Now, I'm not saying Sierra is behind the Mirage's antics, he said to the camera, his tone dripping with feigned innocence. But isn't it interesting how they always seem to know exactly who's bothering her? Almost like they're taking cues from someone. He smirked, leaning back in his chair as the comments rolled in, most of them agreeing with his insinuations. Trent always has the tea. The Mirage is out of control. Sierra needs to say something. Leave our girl alone. She's unbothered. Trent chuckled, knowing exactly what he was doing. The beauty of his role in the chaos was that he never had to lie. He just pointed out the pieces and let the audience connect the dots. A notification popped up on his screen. A text from Darius. Darius, saw the new video. Nice work. Keep stirring the pot. Trent smirked. His suspicions about Darius's real motives confirmed once again. Anything for the ratings, he muttered to himself, hitting his refresh on his analytics page. Back at her place, Sierra finished her statement and posted it on Instagram, attaching a carefully curated selfie that balanced vulnerability and strength. I love my fans, but let's remember to keep it respectful. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, and I'm focused on what really matters, bringing you the best version of myself. Let's rise above the noise. Hashtag Love in Rocket City. Within minutes, the post was flooded with comments. Got it, queen. We love you. Translation, she's guilty. The drama keeps coming. Who else is living for this? Sierra closed the app and leaned back, staring at the ceiling. This can't be my life, she muttered. But deep down, she knew this was only the beginning. The game was rigged, and she was playing, whether she wanted to or not.
Dana, you were confused about the text? Yeah, so that text was to her phone. It was definitely sound like a flying monkey. See, y'all making the connections now. And so Darius is calling Sierra, talking about Trent is at it again. You need to get in there, frame the narrative. And then on the other side, he's texting Trent, telling him, nice job stirring the pot. Keep up the good work. Right? So but look, I mean, he has some redeeming qualities, especially as it continues to go on. That's the BS you get yourself into and can't get out of. Exactly. So when Sierra says, I can't believe that this is my life, and it says that she's playing the game whether she wants to or not, facts. 100% facts. That's how this is working, y'all. It's all it's all a game. And that's what you know how we watching Love and Marriage Huntsville play out, and it's like, y'all, they all got to be a part of this. Like, I can't see these people wanting to stay here with all the stuff going on. Like, what am I missing? So this is just my brainchild of like what I think is going on. What do I think? I know y'all like Trent. You probably gonna like him even more as the series goes on. But he does keep up a lot of bullshit. But I will say that he does have some redeeming qualities about himself. Because like Sierra said, so he's like weirdly endearing towards her when he's not coming for her. Favorite said Melody commenting on her Instagram. You caught that too? Oh. Yes, Melody was commenting on the Instagrams. So what questions do y'all have so far? Like, it's a lot of fun. I'm weaving in all the pieces. Hold on. I got to make sure I can find the next episode. I'm weaving in all the pieces. Y'all let me know what y'all think or what y'all want to see added. What parts of the real show do y'all want me to weave in a little bit more, make it more clear? Like, let's just keep it going.
Sierra sat cross-legged on the stiff hotel bed, her back pressed against the headboard as her phone screen cast a cold light across her face. The gentle whir of the air conditioner filled the silence, but her focus was on the scrolling chaos of her social media feed. Comments and likes surged with every refresh, a digital reminder of the world she had created for herself. The Mirage, her fan base, had been especially vocal tonight. They always were, weaving theories about the show and attacking anyone who dared to criticize her. Their loyalty should have felt flattering, but instead it weighed heavily on her chest. They weren't fans anymore. They had become a force she couldn't control, one that acted on her behalf, whether she wanted them to or not. Her phone buzzed, pulling her away from the feed. The name on the screen made her stomach twist. Michael. She opened the message instantly. It was simple, just 3 words. I miss you. Her pulse quickened as she stared at the screen. They had been careful, so careful, but Michael's messages always hit her like a wave, stirring up emotions she had buried long ago. They weren't kids anymore, sneaking glances in the high school hallway or passing notes in class. They were adults now, tethered to lives they had built separately. He with Jasmine, she with the carefully curated persona of Sierra Monroe, the wellness guru. And yet, here they were, tied together by a past neither of them seemed able to escape. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. She shouldn't respond. She owed herself that much. But the pull was undeniable. I miss you too, she typed, before she could overthink it. The reply came almost instantly. We need to talk, Sierra. This isn't what I expected. Her breath hitched. What wasn't what he expected? The affair? The weight of their shared history? She wanted to ask, but instead, she set her phone down on the nightstand, its screen glowing like an unanswered question in the dim room. Two years earlier. Back then, life had felt simpler. Sierra was still a rising influencer, known for her candid videos about mental health and wellness. She had started posting during one of her lowest points, finding solace in sharing her struggles with anxiety and self-doubt. Her authenticity resonated with people, and her following grew rapidly. It was during that rise that Darius had found her. The first time they met, it was a sleek rooftop event in downtown Atlanta. Sierra had been invited as a guest speaker to share her story about overcoming anxiety and building a personal brand. Darius, as always, was there scouting for new talent. His eyes lit up the moment she took the stage. She had spoken with a raw honesty that was rare in the influencer world. "It's not about perfection," she had said, her voice steady but warm. "It's about showing up, even when you feel like you can't." Her audience had hung on every word, captivated by her authenticity. After her speech, Darius approached her, his charm on full display. "That was incredible," he said, offering her a dazzling smile. "You have something special, Sierra, a presence that people can't ignore." She had smiled politely, used to compliments, but wary of strangers who seemed too eager. "Thank you. I'm just sharing what's helped me." Darius leaned in slightly, lowering his voice as if they were already co-conspirators. "You're doing more than that. You're building a movement. But if you really want to take it to the next level, you need to think bigger." She tilted her head, intrigued despite herself. "And what does bigger look like to you?" "Reality TV," he said without missing a beat. "I'm producing a new show, Love in Rocket City. It's going to be a mix of ambition, drama, and real-life connections. You'd be perfect for it." Sierra laughed, a light, nervous sound. "Reality TV? That's not really my brand." "Not yet," Darius countered smoothly. "But think about the reach, the opportunities. Your message could go from thousands to millions. You'd have a platform like no other." She hesitated, her mind racing. The idea of reaching more people was tempting, but she had heard enough horror stories about reality TV to know it wasn't all glamorous. "I don't know. I've worked hard to build something real. I don't want to lose that." Darius's expression softened, his tone taking on a note of sincerity. "And that's exactly why you'd be perfect. You're real. People are starving for that. The show would just amplify what you're already doing." They had talked for over an hour that night, Darius weaving a vision of fame and influence that was almost impossible to resist. By the end of the conversation, he had convinced her to at least consider it. "You don't have to decide right now," he had said as they parted ways, "but think about it. The world deserves to see what you have to offer." Sierra had gone home that night and stayed awake until the early hours of the morning, weighing the pros and cons. She thought about the stories she could tell, the lives she could impact, but she also thought about the scrutiny, the invasive cameras, and the potential loss of control. In the end, the allure of a larger platform won out. She called Darius the next day and said yes.
So I love the fact that a lot of y'all still like um you still like Sierra, even though she messing with that lady husband. Because that's called, people, character development. Okay? That's what character development is. When you've built up a storyline and people start to care about a character, they kind of are vibing with them, they found themselves in them, then they can do some stuff. And you kind of like, okay, well, I'm open to hearing more about where she was coming from with this. Okay? Like I'm open to hearing a little bit more. That's where this series gets interesting, right? Because I still like Sierra. She was my favorite character when I created her. she got some flaws, y'all. She definitely got some flaws, but I'm still rocking with her. And I think it's interesting to find that some of y'all are rocking with her too. Perhaps Jazz stole him from Sierra back in the day. Yeah, so okay, I ain't gonna spoil it for you, but you're gonna find out CYT 3805 what their history is. So you saw the little picture of them as kids. I'm going to share it right now. You'll see the picture of them as kids. Boop, 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 boop. Let's rewind this to the back, to the back, to the back. Lord. Hold on.
Of the hotel
there. Pause. I guess I don't have the little the thing pulled up, y'all, but you'll be able to see the background of it. Darlow's using people's vulnerability. That's what Darlow's does. That's what Darlow's does. He uses people's vulnerability and he uses it for the show. He's done it to everyone who's on that show. So all know that they're not really there by their own free will at this point. None of them are. And you're going to get to see how sinister he really is as the story goes on. Saber is right that technically Sierra had him first. They were cool in high school. They were friends in high school. I was just about to say, don't spoil it. Unpopular opinion, this is amazing. The way you are presenting the inner wheels. Thank you, Nat. Darlow's. Yeah, that's what y'all remember calling him Darlow's when I introduced the characters. Yeah, we called him Darlow's. So 1 second. I have to take some of these down. But 1 second. One second. Talk amongst yourselves. Because now it's about to start getting a little crazy. But we're getting into the space too, y'all, where I had to scale back on the graphics because it was taking me so long to do all the visuals that I was then not getting the episodes out to the membership fast enough. And so I told them, look, we're gonna make a deal and I'm going to set up the Patreon, and the folks who want to continue to see some sort of like extra graphics or background information or any of that type of stuff, sign up for the Patreon. But I'm going to start doing the audio versions because with the audio, I can definitely get the stuff out faster. And that was really the approach. And so when you look at, that was episode 4A, I had to cut 4 into a couple of different, into 2 pieces. So I'm going to show you all 4B, and 4B is audio only. So you're not going to see the cool little 1, 2, 3. It's just going to be audio. So let me go to my playlist. And again, appreciate y'all's support 100% with this project. As much as we all say that we kind of want to get out of the messy and we want to do this, like it starts someplace, right? And it starts with you all actually supporting content that is away from the messy, right? That is different. And so I appreciate everybody who put in their interests, like supporting shit. Goddamn, I'm trying to be clever. But we can't be clever right now. Let's get into it. So I had a 4A and a 4B. And of course, y'all, I can't find 4B. Something is up here. So y'all will have to definitely get into it. Huh. This is interesting. Do y'all ever remember seeing a 4B? I don't want to have to go into Patreon. Huh. Okay. Give me one quick second One second, y'all. 1 second. I don't want to send y'all off. I may end up sending y'all off and giving you an episode, skipping the episode. But that just gives y'all a reason to get on there and watch it for yourselves, child. Because the way that I got this thing set up, I'm trying to organize all of the goddamn pieces. But sometimes, y'all, I don't save stuff correctly. I'm making the stuff and then sharing it, moving on. It is a lot of work. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. It's a lot of work. Keep in mind, I have to write the stuff, record it, and find the visuals and share the visuals. That's a lot. But I'm doing it for y'all. I'm doing it for us because it's fun. So, I ain't complaining. I'm just letting y'all know that it's a lot. So let's go ahead and get into it. I think my bad, we are. So I'm going to present. Boop, boop, share my screen. We're going to do it from YouTube because that's going to be faster for me. Hopefully I don't get copywritten on my own shit, y'all. That would be funny. Let's go.
Michael sat in the corner of the hotel conference room, his posture rigid and his jaw clenched. The long mahogany table was littered with half-empty water bottles and crumbled papers, the remnants of another press conference gone awry. Outside, the paparazzi clamored for sound bites, their cameras flashing like a swarm of fireflies in the evening dusk. The official statement about Jasmine's disappearance had been vague, carefully crafted by Darius and the network's PR team to deflect blame and maintain intrigue. Michael's mind, however, was far from the polished words he just delivered to the press. His thoughts were a whirlwind of guilt, confusion, and anger. Jasmine was gone, not in the attention-seeking way she sometimes stormed out of parties or shoots. This was different. This was real. He tapped his fingers against the table, a nervous rhythm that betrayed his outward composure. The room was almost empty now, except for Sierra, who lingered near the doorway, her arms crossed and her face unreadable. "Michael," she said softly, breaking the silence. He looked up, his eyes meeting hers for a fleeting moment before darting away. "What? You look uncomfortable out there." Michael let out a bitter laugh. "Uncomfortable? My wife is missing, Sierra. What am I supposed to look like?" Sierra's expression tightened. "You know what I mean. People are watching every move you make. They're waiting for a crack." "Let them watch," he snapped, his voice low but sharp. "They don't know anything." Sierra took a cautious step further. "Michael, I know this is hard, but we need to stick to the story for now. For the show, for everything." "Stick to the story?" Michael's eyes flared, and he pushed back from the table. "Do you even hear yourself? This isn't a storyline, Sierra. Jasmine is gone. She could be..." He trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. Sierra's gaze softened, but she didn't move any closer. "I'm just saying, we have to be careful. The press, the fans, Darius, they're all waiting for something they can use." Michael's shoulders slumped, and he ran a hand through his hair. "You sound just like him." Her jaw tightened. "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" he shot back, his voice dripping with frustration. "Darius pulls the strings and we all dance. Even now, when everything is falling apart, we dance for him." Sierra hesitated for a moment before stepping closer. "What is it with you and Darius? You've never trusted him, not even in the beginning." Michael's expression darkened. Because I know exactly who he is. We go way back, Sierra. College. He wasn't always this big time producer. Back then, he was just another hustler, always looking for the next person to manipulate. She tilted her head. A bitter laugh. He's the reason I'm in this to begin with. Darius had this way of making you believe he could turn your life into something spectacular. He'd promise you the world, but it always came with strings. Back in college, he convinced me to join this shady investment scheme. It fell apart, of course, and I ended up owing people money I didn't have. Darius, he walked away clean like he always does. Sierra's brow furrowed. And you still agreed to work with him on the show? I didn't have a choice, Michael said, his voice low. When Jasmine got in with the show, Darius saw an opportunity. He knew about my past, about the debts I barely managed to pay off. He made it clear that if I didn't play along, he'd make sure the skeletons in my closet came out. Sierra's stomach churned. Why didn't you tell me? What would it have changed, Sierra? Darius holds all the cards. He always does. That's why I can't stand him. He don't care about anyone but himself. And now, Jasmine. Sierra's voice trailed off. The down on her. Michael's eyes softened for a moment. I don't know if she's gone because of me or because of Darius or because of something else entirely, but I know one thing. None of us are safe as long as he's pulling the strings. Sierra's gaze lingered on him, her thoughts racing. Is that why you've been pulling away? She asked, her voice quieter now. Michael froze, the weight of the question hanging between them. Pulling away? He echoed, though his tone betrayed that he knew exactly what she meant. Yes, Sierra pressed. You've been distant ever since Jasmine disappeared. I get that you're worried, but it's more than that. It feels like you're regretting us. Michael sighed deeply. It's not about regret, Sierra.
Y'all this. I pissed myself off when writing this. This man is sitting here at a press conference looking crazy, trying his hardest not to look guilty on TV. Got this thing going on with Sierra in the background. Y'all know that they was high school sweethearts or whatever. The full thing has not come out so far in this particular episode. But she got the nerve to sit there and say, you acting kind of distant. Are you regretting us? Like, girl, you know that his wife might be dead, right? Like, what are you talking about? But it literally seemed like exactly what somebody in that situation would say. Because y'all know how, like, women can be sometimes of, like, not, like, really thinking everything is about them. Like, how this man is literally sitting here. He just, first of all, it's a press conference where y'all there to talk about Jasmine being missing. Okay, y'all getting toe up in the blogs, whole thing. Mirage fighting for their life, but barely keeping you afloat, child. You call yourself trying to help him. He told to you that Darius has blackmailed him. This literally be how females be. Like, this man has just told you all these things. He's literally losing it. He just sat there and said, listen, Darius has been blackmailing me. He basically making us all dance for him. He is pulling the strings. We puppets to him. Sierra knows that this is true because he's doing it to her first. He's doing it to her too, but she can't even connect the dots in the moment. All she thinking about is, oh, are you regretting it? It's like, oh, shut up. This man got me into a Ponzi scheme, got me set up. I had to pay back all this money. I'm in debt, had to pay these people off. He got off scot-free. He know that I borrowed the money from the business. Malik barely even know what's really going on. So the tea is behind the scenes. That's what's causing issues with their business. I told y'all that he in business with Malik. But it's some financial stuff going on. It's because of Darius. Okay, so he just sat there and just basically heard this up. And the only thing she can think to say is like, okay, but I feel like it might be more than that though. Like, cause like, I feel like, are you threatening us? Like, girl, what make you think it's us? I literally just told your goofy ass what it was. Like, this is why I couldn't be a man. I could not. I was like, she will probably be this annoying. Right? Like, girl, the whole thing is complicated. Why are you making this about you? So annoying.
It's about every time I think about Jasmine, about what's happening to her, I can't help but think that I'm part of the reason she's gone. Sierra's chest tightened, but she kept her voice steady. You didn't force her to leave, Michael. Whatever happened to Jasmine, it's not on you. He shook his head. That's not entirely true, is it? We were reckless, careless. She did find out about us. It's not hard to imagine that His voice trailed off, his throat tightening around the words. Don't, Sierra said firmly, stepping closer. Don't do that to yourself. You're not the villain here, and neither am I. Michael met her gaze, his eyes filled with conflict. Aren't we, though? We hurt her, Sierra, and now she's gone. How am I supposed to look at myself and not see a part of the blame? Sierra reached out, her hand brushing his arm. We're human, Michael. We make mistakes. But we're not the reason she's gone. We can't be. I want to believe that. I really do. She offered a faint smile. Then start by believing it, because blaming yourself isn't going to bring her back. Meanwhile, across town, Trent sat in his cramped apartment, the glow of his laptop screen illuminating his face. His fingers flew across the keyboard as he pieced together a new video for his channel. Trent is Live. The title flashed boldly at the top of his editing software. Jasmine Blake, missing or mastermind. He leaned back in his chair, chewing on the cap of a pen as he reviewed the footage. Clips from the press conference played side by side with scenes from Love and Rocket City. Michael's stiff demeanor, Sierra's carefully neutral expressions, Darius's smooth deflections. Something doesn't add up, Trent muttered to himself. He paused the video and opened a new browser tab, typing the Mirage fan theories into the search bar. A flood of results appeared, each one more unhinged than the last. The fan was in overdrive, dissecting every frame of the show and every public appearance of the cast. But one thread caught his attention. Jasmine's last text, what it reveals about her disappearance. Clicking the link, Trent's eyes scanned the page. The theory was elaborate, built on a combination of leaked messages, speculative timelines, and wild assumptions. But there was one detail that stood out. A cryptic message Jasmine had received from an unknown sender hours before she vanished. The message read, I've had enough. Trent's lips curled into a slight grin. Bingo. He quickly copied the text and added it to his video timeline, overlaying it with dramatic music and his own narration. Who sent this to Jasmine, and what did they mean by it? Was it a threat or something worse? As he pieced together the final edits, he scrolled through more of the fans on the Mirage subreddit. One user speculated that the message was a coded warning, possibly from someone inside the production team. Another insisted it had to be a member of the cast. Their detailed breakdown pointed to Michael's odd behavior during the press conference. A more chilling theory caught Trent's attention. What if it wasn't a warning, but an ultimatum? Someone trying to silence Jasmine for good. The comment was accompanied by screenshots of Jasmine's social media posts, highlighting cryptic captions she shared in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. Phrases like, "Some truths are too dangerous," and "Not everything is as it seems," now took on a sinister edge. Trent leaned back in his chair, his mind racing. The theories were wild, but some threads felt too specific to ignore. He pulled out a notebook and started jotting down key points. Jasmine's captions, the timeline of the text, and potential suspects. Darius's name circled in bold ink. Just as he started piecing the puzzle together, a notification popped up on his screen. It was a direct message from an anonymous account. "You're getting too close. Stop digging." Trent's eyes narrowed. "And exactly who are you?" he muttered, typing out a response. "Too close to what? If you have answers, now's the time to share." Seconds later, the anonymous account replied, "You don't know what you're dealing with. Some things are better left buried." Trent's fingers hovered over the keyboard before he typed again. "Buried like Jasmine? What do you know?" There was a pause long enough for Trent to start doubting whether he'd get another response. Then it came. "She wasn't supposed to go missing. They didn't plan for this." The vagueness was infuriating, but it confirmed one thing for Trent. Whoever this was, they knew more than they were letting on. He fired back another question. "Who's they? Darius? Someone else on the show?" This time, the reply took longer. "Be careful who you trust. Not everyone wants the truth out." Trent stared at the screen, his heart pounding. The cryptic warnings only fueled his determination. Whoever was behind this wasn't just trying to shut him up. They were scared. And that meant he was closer to the truth than he realized. He quickly took screenshots of the conversation, saving them in multiple folders on his computer. If someone wanted to intimidate him, they'd have to try harder than that. "Looks like I'm on to something," he muttered, his grin returning as he resumed editing his video.
So you saying that Jasmine got international? So who was asking me? Saber, you asked earlier who was texting Jasmine. So this is episode 5 that gets into that text. So y'all are asking, like, oh, I was confused about who the text was from. So yeah, we get into that in chapter or episode 5. It was an anonymous text. We don't know who sent it. But Trent, in all of his digging, ended up getting some anonymous messages that were kind of pressing on, like, "You doing too much. You need to leave us alone. You know what you're doing. You probably need to step back." And Trent is like, "Yeah, okay. Let's just see how much you know." So he's really digging into this whole what happened to Jasmine. Now, is he doing it because he cares about Jasmine, or is he doing it because he wants content? Does it matter? Right? Like, does it really matter? I think it's the question, right? So we don't really know if he's doing it for content or if he's doing it because he actually really cares where this lady is. And the reality of it is, y'all, We don't quite know yet. Those of you who are on Patreon have seen the one episode that is from Jasmine's perspective, so you know where she is and what she's seeing, what she smells, what she feels. You'll get an insight into that. It's just a glimpse, and it's called A Terrifying Glimpse. So I actually have that for free over on the Patreon. So if you are even a free Patreon member, you can read that to get a little bit more insight. Now, Sabra, you were asking me, am I going full dark? I haven't decided yet. What do you think? Do you think it should go super dark? I'm with Sabra. Jazz in the basement. No thanks to the deranged fans. Maybe somebody watching Trent. Look out, it's in your own camp. Yeah, well, living for me 75. You in for a little bit of tea in this next episode, baby. He doing it for content. I think he absolutely doing it for content. But I don't know. Trent is a little. Is he doing it only for? He definitely is doing it for content. But I think that he may have his own motivations too. I think he does. I don't know. We got to keep watching. Sierra paced the floor of her apartment. The tension in the room felt heavier than usual. Jasmine's disappearance had shifted the tone of Love in Rocket City from a drama-filled series to a real-life mystery. The production schedule was in chaos, with Darius scrambling to capitalize on tragedy, or so Sierra suspected. Her phone vibrated on the marble counter, and she hesitated before picking it up. Trent's name lit up the screen. She braced herself. Trent rarely called unless there was something significant to share. "Hey," Sierra cautiously answered. "You're not going to believe this," Trent said, his voice low but sharp, like he was holding back his frustration. "Darius just dropped a teaser for the next episode, and guess what it's called?" Sierra's heart sank. "What?" "Secrets in Rock." Actually, y'all, we skipped one, and this is the one that you need for sure. There's something weird going on YouTube account where something about my video might be inappropriate. Inappropriate because of what? Why would my thing be inappropriate? Come on now, YouTube. Go. Trent had always known the game was dirty, but this was a different level. The moment he hit publish on his latest video, the number started climbing. Comments flooded in, theories spiraling into madness. Some fans were convinced Jasmine was playing a long con. Others believed foul play was involved, pointing fingers at Darius, Michael, and even Sierra. But Trent wasn't interested in fan chatter tonight. No, he had bigger fish to fry. He paced his apartment. The anonymous text he received earlier weighed heavily on his mind. It was a warning, sure, but it only served to stoke Trent's determination. Whoever sent it underestimated his resolve. After a few laps around the room, Trent grabbed his phone and hesitated. He hated involving Darius, but if there was anyone who could shed light on Jasmine's disappearance, or who stood to gain the most from her absence, it was him. With a sigh, he typed out a message. "We need to talk. Off the record." The reply came faster than expected. "Fine, midnight, the Regent Lounge. Don't be late." The Regent Lounge. Of course. Darius would pick a venue that screamed exclusivity and power. Trent smirked at the predictability, but couldn't shake the flutter of unease in his chest. He quickly packed his bag with essentials: a portable recorder, a notebook, and a backup phone.
If Darius planned to manipulate him, Trent intended to leave with more than just words. The lounge was dimly lit, its ambiance curated for power players like Darius. As Trent stepped inside, he scanned the room and spotted Darius already seated at a corner table, sipping a whiskey as if he had all the time in the world. His tailored suit and calm demeanor exuded control. Well, 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 Darius greeted as Trent approached. The man behind the drama, or should I say, my biggest fan. Trent rolled his eyes, sliding into the seat across from him. Cut the crap, Darius. Why did you agree to meet with me? Darius signaled for 2 drinks before speaking, his voice smooth and measured. You've been busy, he said, a faint smirk playing on his lips. Too busy. Yeah, that's kind of my thing, Trent shot back. Exposing lies, unraveling secrets. You should try it sometime. Darius chuckled, but his eyes remained cold. You think you're clever, don't you? Stirring the pot, feeding the masses with half-baked theories. But here's the thing, Trent. Those theories are starting to get too close to reality, and reality has consequences. Trent leaned forward, his grin widening. So what's the reality, Darius? Care to enlighten me? Or are you just here to scare me into silence? Darius's smile faltered for a moment. You want the truth? Here it is. You're playing a dangerous game. You keep pushing, and someone's going to start pushing back. Trent raised an eyebrow. Is that a threat? Or are you warning me about someone else? For the first time, Darius hesitated, taking a deliberate sip of his drink. Let's just say, not everyone appreciates your kind of attention. Malik and Kendra entered the lounge with their usual composed air, but Malik's eyes narrowed slightly as he spotted Trent and Darius at a corner table. He leaned toward Kendra, his voice steady, but laced with quiet disapproval. Look at that. Trent and Darius. This should be interesting. Kendra followed his gaze, her expression unreadable. Darius doesn't do casual meetings, she said. Whatever they're talking about is not good. Malik nodded, his jaw tightening. Darius likes to collect people, especially the ones who think they're untouchable. Trent doesn't realize he's already in too deep. They approached the table, Malik keeping his tone measured as he spoke. Trent, you sure you know what you're doing here? Kendra offered a polite smile. We wouldn't want to interrupt. Oh, no interruption, Darius said smoothly. In fact, I think Trent could use some perspective on how things operate in our world. Trent raised an eyebrow, intrigued. And what world is that? The one where he owns you, Malik replied curtly. Kendra tugged on Malik's arm. Come on, let's not do this here. Malik allowed a small smile, but his eyes remained sharp. Fair enough. Just a reminder, with Darius, nothing comes without a price. As Malik and Kendra walked away, Trent turned back to Darius, his curiosity now mixed with unease. What's their deal? Darius leaned back in his chair, swirling his drink lazily. Always the voice of reason, Malik. Tell me, does it ever get tiring being so above it all? Before Trent could get a response, Kendra glanced back at Darius, her voice cutting in with an edge. Maybe it's not tiring when you're not the one constantly stirring the pot, Darius. Malik added calmly. It's more exhausting cleaning up your messes. Darius' smirk widened, but his eyes sharpened even more. Cleaning up? Please, Malik. You think you stayed so spotless all these years? We both know better. Trent watched the exchange with rapt attention, his mind spinning. What's he talking about? He asked Malik directly. Malik didn't answer right away. Instead, he exchanged a look with Kendra. Nothing you need to worry about, Malik said finally, his tone clipped. Let's go, Kendra. As the couple left, Trent turned back to Darius, feeling the tension in the air grow heavier. So what's the history there? Malik clearly doesn't trust you. Darius chuckled, setting his glass down. Malik doesn't trust anyone who doesn't fit into his perfectly curated world. He thinks he's clean, better than everyone else. But everyone has dirt, Trent, even Malik. You should know that better than anyone. The memory came flooding back, unbidden and unwelcome. A night Trent had tried to bury, but one Darius would never let him forget. It had been an over-the-top party where alcohol flowed freely and inhibitions were low. Darius had cornered Trent on a balcony, the city lights stretching out below them. You're so much more interesting than you let on, Darius had said, his voice smooth as silk. Trent had laughed bitterly. Flattery doesn't work on me, Darius. Try harder. But Darius only smirked, stepping closer. Oh, I don't need to try. You and I, we're cut from the same cloth. We thrive on control, on chaos. It's intoxicating, isn't it? What happened next was a blur, a mix of alcohol, adrenaline, and something neither of them wanted to admit. By morning, Darius had left a note, short, cryptic, and infuriating. We'll do this again sometime. Now, sitting across from Darius in the lounge, Trent felt the weight of that night pressing down on him. He hated that Darius had this hold over him, this knowledge of a moment Trent wished he could erase. You think you've got me figured out, Trent said, his voice low, but you don't. That night, it didn't mean what you think it did. Darius tilted his head, his smirk infuriatingly calm. Oh, I know exactly what it meant. It meant I own a part of you, Trent. And that terrifies you, doesn't it? Trent's jaw tightened, but he didn't respond. He couldn't. Here's the thing, Darius continued, leaning back in his chair. You can keep digging, keep playing the righteous truth teller. But remember this, I always play the long game, and I always win. As Trent walked away that night, he couldn't shake the feeling that Darius was right. But he also knew one thing for certain. He wasn't going to stop. Not now, not ever.
Oh, y'all, that has to be my favorite chapter because there's so much in it. So, yep, them rascals in cahoots together. Well, when I say Trent and Darius did it, I mean they did it. Not took Jasmine. I'm talking about they had a moment. And so when you start to really like step back, and this is why I can't wait for this to be a book. You know, I'm turning this into a novel. So it'll have even more details in a novel version. But when you sit back and you really look across it, like Darius literally got something on everybody. And where he didn't have nothing on Trent, he made sure to get him something. Did Darius date with Trent? Did he, Saber? I think that I'll leave that up to the viewers because I didn't think about that. But hey, I don't know. I just know what I wrote, and I guess there's a whole lot that can be read into that. That's the fun of this. Maybe he did. I wouldn't put that past Darius. Now, that's interesting, Sabra. I wonder what Trent thinks. Y'all know I got a recording from Trent to tell y'all exactly what he thinks too, right? You know what? I literally thought that it first too. Yeah, they did. Duh. It was the moment. Darius said it means I own a piece of you. He's diabolical. And when he said I played a long game, I was like, what do you mean? I think that had a double entendre. Like, how do you say that to somebody? How does this go to from them talking about Malik? Like, oh, because Malik, he think he perfect, but everybody has dirt. You should know that better than anybody, Trent. Like that. I don't personally think that Carlos is this diabolical. I don't think that he has this kind of heart, but this Darius character is truly diabolical. Like, this dude literally is power hungry and does not care. I don't think that Darius really has a soul. I really don't. I don't think that there's anything that guides him other than his own fancies. Like, you don't do these types of things that he's doing, and y'all will learn more and more of all the things that he's doing. Like, you don't do those things and be a good person. Like, he's not a good person at all. But yeah, he said, I own a piece of you. When he said it, Trent said it didn't mean what you think it means. He said, I know what it meant. It meant I own you. What? Jasmine got the deets that she was going to expose them. Look, you see, now you putting it all together. And like I always say, every one of these characters have been developed intentionally. So all of the things mean something. So if you're picking up on anything, it's like, yes, I'm the author. And I always tell y'all, like, this is what authors and producers want people to do. They want you to pick in it and pick the pieces and pull them together. Like, that's when somebody actually is intentional about a story that they're trying to tell. Like, each one of these people have their own backstories, and they have their own backstories about their relationships to each other. And all of that stuff influences how they handle situations and where their emotions come from and their motivations and stuff come from. So I told y'all earlier that it's some history between Michael, Malik, and Darius, and you got to see Malik have an interaction with Darius. And because I kind of spilt that to y'all up front, you can see why he approached him like that. Now, Trent doesn't know this, right? That's why Trent asked, he's like, why it seem like Malik don't trust you? Right? And you can see that little banter. Like, this is what I loved about this chapter, like that banter that Darius and Malik had going back and forth. It was definitely giving a Maurice energy. Like, it definitely gave a Maurice moment. That just real, like, sophisticated, but then the wife is over in the background. She like, but wait, because this can go left. Like, I ain't about to let you do it. Like, she got her arm on the shoulder. Like, yeah, let's just keep this cute. Like, let's go. We're not trying to make a scene. We're not trying to impose, because she has an awareness that if they really get into it, it's going to be gotten into. Right. And so I love that about this. Like, it's so fun to write because there's so much material to pull from. Dark and Lovely said, dang, I got to catch up to be able to follow the storyline. Yep, we doing all that on this live. So if you do the replay, then you'll get all of it, Dark and Lovely. You did real good with this. Thank you, Dana. I wondered that the rumors of them dating and the look of things and the breakup of Carlos and his relationship of 20 years, did it cost him too? He was with that guy for 20 years? She started at the beginning. Yep. So you think Carlos has chic, fashionable, dirtbag energy? I don't. So, and Saber, you've been following Love and Rocket City from the beginning and adding notes and all that stuff. So you know this, but like, this is Love and Rocket City is if everything in Love and Marriage Huntsville went wrong. It's like, how bad can it go? That's Love and Rocket City. So no, this is the extreme. This is everyone else's alter ego. Right. So like, if we had the upside down of Love and Marriage Huntsville, it would be Love and Rocket City. Somewhat. Not as Stranger Things, but low key, sort of, kind of. Right. So I know he was with him for 20 years. It probably did. I mean, I don't know, y'all. I try to weave it all in. But it's such a fun story to tell because I get to use my full imagination of like, okay. So now just to give y'all a little insight into the process, right? This is how something like this works for me mentally. So I already had in my mind, and this is thanks to y'all, really thanks to the pop stars. Because every time I do one of these character analysis or any of that, like we always talk about like what could be better. Like here's a storyline I would prefer. Here's what I think would happen based on their relationships with each other. Y'all know that that's what I've been doing the whole time. I was like, you know what, bump this. I'm just gonna put together my own little thing. And so I started out with each character, right? And really thought through of like backgrounds, because if your characters are flat, the stories aren't interesting. So like what is this person's story? What drives them? What's their relationship with the other characters? Like what is it that they want to get out of life? Like what are their weaknesses? So on my Patreon, I'm going to drop y'all my like pagers for each character. I have a page or 2 or 3 for each character where I've just like completely visualized like and made them into a person, like created them as people. So it's a lot of stuff that's on those character sheets that may or may not play out in future seasons. So I got to actually be a little mindful of how much of that I share because I don't want to ruin anything for the future. But you get like things that happen in their childhood. Like I even gave them like childhood backgrounds, like what it was like for them growing up, like what type of family structure did they come from, where did they go to school, like how they make their money, like all those different types of things, because I think that kind of stuff then adds flavor to the way that they interact in the world, right? Obviously, because that's all of our stories. Like we interact with the world based on what we've been through. So all the characters gotta have gone through something. Like it has to be something with them. And so I built those characters out, not all of them at once, but I started with the core, the Sierra, the Michael, the Darius, the Trent, and the Jasmine. Started with them. I built in Kendra and Malik secondary because I did want to have all of the characters from Love and Rocket City reflected. So I don't have a Tisha and a Marceau yet, but there are some Tisha qualities in Sierra, but not quite. Like Sierra really truly is more equivalent to like a Destiny type character, with a little bit of melody in there for good measure. And so like you got to do that first. So once I had the characters, then I was even more excited about creating a storyline, right? Because I was already starting to get some ideas, just building each of those characters one by one. And of course, I'm not starting from scratch. I'm starting with the character types that we did together for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Like those were the basis. And then I just built that stuff out. Then you have to do something called a storyboard, right? So that's when you think the story from like beginning to end. Now, it doesn't necessarily have like, the storyboard doesn't have all of the details, but I generally know where I want the story to go, right? So I know at least for this particular season, what the plot is, right? But as Saber is asking, like, how dark you going? Like, those are things I don't know. That's when, I roll this stuff out to y'all and y'all give feedback and then you say little things and then it's like, oh, that's interesting. And then I find ways to loop that in. Also, if something happens on the show or something happens on the internet, like that kind of stuff gets woven in too, because it's supposed to be, an upside down reflection of the Love and Marriage Huntsville space. And so that's pretty much my process. So I have a storyboard that has, okay, here's the plot. And here's how messy I want it to be. Like here are all like the cross-pollination of the relationships. Like I want them to have a thing. Ooh, what'd be crazy? And what I did was I honestly just like one day started just talking to my sister about like, what would be wild? Like if in real life, like if all these things happen, like that'd be crazy, right? And then that kind of just like built out into the storyline, right? So I have a board and I have like milestones, like key things And so thus far, this book is about 17 chapters. I'm not done. I'm like on chapter 10. But in order for me to do it justice, it's probably going to stretch to about 17, between 14 and 17 chapters. And then there'll be future seasons because it's so many things that I can't get into in one season or one novel. That's why it's called a trilogy. Because then it just be too convoluted. Like, you got to keep the story like tight, or else it just gets to be too crazy. Like, folks should be able to follow along, and it should build on itself, right? But that's really the way that I've envisioned it and how it's been working out. Now, if Jasmine lives, that's going to be a whole other thing because we don't know anything from her perspective. So then that's giving, I don't know if any of y'all are like Twilight fans, the book Twilight, Stephanie Meyer's. But she ended up making Midnight Sun as a book, and Midnight Sun was basically all of the Twilight, but from Edward's perspective. Like, only from his perspective, because the first Twilight was all from Bella's perspective. So then she did one book called Midnight Sun, which was basically the first book from Edward's perspective. So that's interesting because there's an opportunity, actually, if she lives or she dies, there can still be an additional season where the story is being told from Jasmine's perspective of what she saw and what she felt, what happened when she left the party from her lens, right? Like, who did she interact with? What were those stories about? Yeah, and then Saber said, I want Jasmine to find Sierra and Michael's baby. Right, because all this stuff is playing out. Jasmine is not around. Jasmine don't know that they got a baby, right? Like, it's a lot of little things that are like in here that can be explored. The whole business thing, the tea that Darius got of pulling Michael into that scheme that is gonna blow back on him and Malik's business, like, that ain't fully fleshed out. It's a lot of stuff. So then it kind of just snowballs. It snowballs, and then I can't quite manage it. And then I get busy. And then I realize how much time does this actually take. So in order for it to be good, like, I have to be in a creative space. And as an Aquarius, like, there are lots of things that can interfere with me being being in a creative space. Like, I have to be like totally just like calm and content, right, to be in a creative space, because otherwise I'm in troubleshooting space. I'm in all these other, like, I gotta have like a fresh, calm, chill mind in order to like create stuff like this. So that's why I'm behind. I'm sorry that y'all ain't got the most recent chapter. It's like 2 weeks late at this point, but I am filming it now. Like, I'm recording it now. And each chapter just gets longer and longer, so that makes it harder. But I have gone back to visuals. So as I'm putting stuff on TikTok, even the chapters that I didn't put visuals on, I'm gonna put visuals on it. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. That's what all this makes it more complicated. But I'm committed to giving y'all good storytelling. I'm committed to giving y'all something a little sugar-free that y'all can come and snack on in the middle, in the midst of all the other BS that happens in this quote unquote sector, right? And that's really the commitment, y'all. So that's my process. That's how this has worked. And we're gonna get into real quick. We're gonna finish up our marathon. We got like 10 minutes left. And so let's go. Sierra paced the floor of her apartment. The tension in the room felt heavier than usual. Jasmine's disappearance had shifted the tone of Love in Rocket City from a drama-filled series to a real-life mystery. The production schedule was in chaos, with Darius scrambling to capitalize on the tragedy, or so Sierra suspected. Her phone vibrated on the marble counter, and she hesitated before picking it up. Trent's name lit up the screen. She braced herself. Trent rarely called unless there was something significant to share. "Hey," Sierra cautiously answered. "You're not going to believe this," Trent said, his voice low but sharp, like he was holding back his frustration. "Darius just dropped a teaser for the next episode, and guess what it's called?" Sierra's heart sank.
What? Secrets in Rocket City. Sierra closed her eyes. The audacity of Darius cutting through her already frazzled nerves. Of course, she muttered. He's turning this into a ratings grab. That's not even the worst part, Trent added. The teaser hints that you might know more about Jasmine's disappearance than you're letting on. Sierra froze, gripping the edge of the counter for support. What the hell is he doing? He knows I have nothing to do with Jasmine leaving or whatever happened to her. He knows, Trent said darkly, but he also knows that your name sells episodes. And let's face it, he's been building up this storyline for weeks. You've seen the way he edits the confessionals. Half the time, it looks like you're scheming when you're not even saying anything. Damn it, Trent, Sierra hissed. What am I supposed to do? If I confront him, he'll only twist it to make me look guiltier. Maybe, Trent said, pausing. But you can't let him control the narrative. That's what he's counting on. You've got your platform, Sierra. Use it. Sierra fell silent. She had always tried to avoid bringing the show's drama into her personal brand. Her wellness and mental health content were supposed to be an escape, not another layer of the circus Darius orchestrated. But maybe Trent was right. Maybe it was time to fight fire with fire. Later that night, Sierra found herself scrolling through old photos on her phone. Pictures of her and Michael from years ago, back when they were just two teenagers in love, flooded her screen. The weight of their shared history pressed against her chest. She had spent so much time burying the past, but now it was clawing its way to the surface, threatening to destroy everything she had built. A knock at the door pulled her out of her thoughts. She glanced at the clock. It was almost midnight. Her pulse quickened as she made her way to the door, peering through the peephole. It was Michael. Sierra opened the door, her emotions a tangled mess of relief and anger. What are you doing here? Michael stepped inside, his face etched with worry. We need to talk. About what? How Darius is using Jasmine's disappearance to paint me as some kind of villain? Or maybe about how our secrets are about to blow up in our faces? Michael took a deep breath. About all of it, he said. But first, I need you to tell me something. Sierra crossed her arms. What? What? Do you think Darius knows? Michael's voice was low, almost a whisper. His eyes locked onto hers, searching for an answer. She hesitated. Knows what? That we were together? That we have a... She cut herself off, unwilling to say it aloud. Yes, Michael pressed, that we have a child out there, Sierra. Do you think he knows? The weight of his question hit her like a freight train. She had never considered the possibility that Darius might know about the baby they gave up for adoption. But if he did... I don't know, she admitted, her voice trembling. But if he does, Michael, we're screwed. The scene shifts to a summer evening in their small southern hometown. 10 years earlier, Sierra, just 18, sat on the hood of Michael's old Honda Civic, her hands clutching a letter she had written but couldn't bring herself to give to him. You don't have to do this, Michael said, his voice breaking. He stood a few feet away, hands shoved deep into his jeans pocket. We could figure it out together. I'll get a job, too, if I have to. You think it's that simple? Sierra snapped,
her voice raw with frustration. We're kids, Michael. We have no money, no plan. How are we supposed to raise a baby when we can't barely take care of ourselves? Michael stepped closer, his face crumpling. I don't care how hard it is. I want to be there for you, for him. Tears streamed down Sierra's face. What about college? What about your scholarship? You think you'll still have that if you stay? He fell silent. They both knew the answer. We have to give him a chance, Sierra said, her voice softening. A real chance. Somewhere safe with parents who can give him everything we can't. Michael's shoulders slumped in defeat. Do you think we'll ever see him again? Sierra shook her head, her heart breaking. I don't know. But I hope one day he'll understand why we did this. Back in the present, Michael's voice broke through the haze of Sierra's memories. We made that decision together, he said, and I've regretted it every single day since. Sierra turned to him, her eyes filled with a mix of pain and anger. Do you think I haven't? But that doesn't change the fact that if Darius finds out, he'll use it to destroy us. We're not characters to him, Michael. We're pawns. Michael's jaw tightened. Then maybe it's time we stop playing his game. Sierra stared at him, the weight of his words sinking in. She didn't know if they could stop Darius, but one thing was clear. Their path was no longer something they could leave behind. It was coming for them, whether they were ready or not. So yeah, y'all, I want y'all to tune in. This was a marathon of Love and Rocket City. There are more episodes. If you go to my YouTube page, if you go under playlist, you all can catch up. I think that there are 2 more episodes that are posted, and then the one that I'm working on now is coming out in a few days. I may have skipped an episode in today's marathon. There should be a 4B. I only played 4A. So you all may want to get back and get some whatever missing context that I messed up by skipping that one. But y'all, it's very interesting. As you can see, I appreciate y'all's support and open to any kind of feedback y'all got, any suggestions for where to go deeper, where to expand the story. But it's about to get a little bit intense. I know some of y'all are completely caught up, and so what they on right now, what they trying to do. And so I say y'all go ahead and watch it. It's really starting to get crazier and crazier, and a lot of stuff is coming out. The drama is just getting started. But before we go, I'm gonna see if I got the little clip from Trent. Maybe I can find it on his YouTube page, y'all. But Trent did go live, and he wanted to say something about the episode with him and Darius on it, y'all. He felt away, and he really wanted to get, his piece out about what had happened, y'all. And so let's go ahead and let Trent tell it from his perspective of what actually happened, because he said that he ain't gonna let Darius keep playing in his face. Maybe it's on the Patreon. So what y'all think? What y'all think so far? Like, if you haven't watched it and this was your first time hearing it, like, I'm really interested in your feedback. So let me hear it. What are your thoughts on all the things, like how y'all feeling about it. Like, is it interesting? You know, like just give me the feedback. Like, what are y'all thinking? What y'all think? What y'all think? Symmetry's clapping her hands. I listened to the replay. I'm caught up, but I want a refresher. Okay, yep. That is cool. Is this my Trent? Let's see, will this play? No, they don't like that. I love it. Get down and dirty. Let me pull it up on the Patreon. Or is it on mine? No, I thought that I shared it with y'all already. Where Trent gave his 2 pieces, y'all, on the situation with him and Darius. And y'all get to hear Trent's new voice that I worked on that doesn't have a lisp. It's very important. Let me see. But something is weird with my computer right now. It's not showing any of my YouTube videos on my actual computer. And it's not letting me get into my doggone Patreon. What the F? Let's try from the phone, y'all. I was caught up, but I like this format. It's definitely interesting. The characters are developing well. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. I'm trying, y'all. For real. But it's fun. I'm not gonna front like I'm not having a good time doing this. It's fun. It is something to kind of it's a beat. It's a step back, get into something that is, again, creative. It's like a sugar-free thing because we can still play around in the mess of it. But at the same time, it ain't really bothering nobody. It's out the way. You know what I'm saying? And that's what is best about the whole situation, in my opinion. And I don't look like, can I not pay? Oh, here it is. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to play y'all what what Trent had to say about it. Here we go.
Y'all, let me be real for a second. Now, I've never been one to hold my tongue when it comes to love or Rocket City drama, but what went down in last week's episode, baby, let me fit this tea real slow because some people, yes, you, Darius, think they can keep pulling strings without getting tangled in them. I knew the second I stepped into this mess that Darius wasn't just an EP. He's a master manipulator. But let's set the record straight about our history, okay? Do we have a moment? Yes. Did I regret it? Also, yes. Some doors should have stayed shut, but hey, we all have our mistakes, right? Just know that low power move people to try and intimidate me, it's not gonna work. Not now, not ever. Jasmine might be missing, but don't think for a second that's the only mystery brewing in Rocket City. Some of us, okay, are out here connecting dots. And trust me, you won't believe where the trail leads. Keep watching, dog. This tea is about to be spilled.
So that's what Trent had to say. And it is on his page. Why my computer lying? I'm subscribed, but I can't get it. I'm gonna look on my wall. I believe I shared it there. Be right back. You prefer the list? You don't like Trent's new voice? Good escapism. However, like I said, it feels like your first documentary on toxic fans seems like part 1, and then Rocket City seems like part 2. It really does. And it kind of is. It feels like your first documentary. It kind of is. Sabra, you hit the nail on the head. Y'all think y'all don't like Trent's voice? Really? Is that a consensus?
Y'all, let me be real for a second. Now, I've never been one to hold my tongue when it comes to love or Rocket City drama, but
y'all don't like this voice?
What went down in last week's episode, baby, let me fit this tea real slow because some people, yes, you, Darius, think they can keep pulling strings without getting tangled in them. I knew the second I stepped into this mess that Darius wasn't just an EP. He's a master manipulator. But let's set the record straight about our history, okay? Do we have a moment? Yes. Did I regret it? Also, yes. Some doors should have stayed shut, but hey, we all have our mistakes, right? Just know that low power move he pulled to try and intimidate me, it's not gonna work. Not now, not ever. Jasmine might be missing, but don't think for a second that's the only mystery brewing in Rocket City. Some of us, okay, are out here connecting dots. And trust me, you won't believe where the trail leads. Keep watching, dog. This tea is about to be spilled.
Well, he said what he said, period. Why you say that? Because you don't like Trent. He gonna come over here and get you together, CYT 3805. But thank y'all for joining me this evening. This was fun. Tell your friends, tell your folks, get down there to TikTok. We're gonna build this thing out. I'm messy because I like Sierra and Michael. I think theirs is true love. Now, listen. I was talking to somebody, one of the pop stars, about this the other day. I don't know if it was which live it was, but we were talking about this of like, is Sierra wrong? Like, is she wrong? Is this like a how do you play that? Like, is she wrong for dealing with Michael? Like, y'all will get a flashback of how they like kind of reconnected in the whole thing if you watch the series. I may have skipped a couple things in the marathon today, and I know that that's bogus, but if you go back and listen to it for yourself, or if you get the novel when I drop that, you'll see how they got reconnected again. She didn't, this is all Darius is doing, basically, of even why he brought Sierra onto the show. Like, we know that he went to one of her speaking engagements and recruited her, but why, right? Why, right? We know that Darius was real cool with Michael and Malik in college. He probably, we can just start to kind of like think through of like, Darius probably knew about Sierra, right? And he probably brought her to the show. You'll see again in future episodes of like them talking about like, again, the flashback of how they got reconnected and what that whole situation was. But she wasn't looking to get back with him. He wasn't looking to get back with her. They had lost all contact after he went away to college. She didn't go to college. Okay. After she put the baby up for adoption, she did not go away to school. She had a whole lot of other life events. Some things went down based on the trauma behind having to give up her baby and stuff, which has not been explored in this season yet. But there's some on her character sheet that I created. Sierra there's a gap between senior year of high school and when she started her social media influencer platform. Because they're all not that old either. Like, they're like in their early 30s. Like, I don't think any of them are over like 35. So they're still relatively young, but she has a gap where some other stuff happened that led her into this social media influencer mental health space, right? Whereas he went to college, and that's why they put the baby up for adoption so that they can go on with their lives. But she didn't necessarily get to do that the way that Michael did. And so they went their separate ways. And they had not really connected since then. It was just too traumatic or whatever. And so they were trying to just forget about it and be teenagers, go through live their experiences and live their lives. And then lo and behold, they both end up on this reality TV show together and got to act like they don't really know each other. But people were feeling a way about them, right? Like, people are like, the fans and, various folks are like, something seem like it's something, Jasmine, like, seem like it's something with y'all, like, what's this? This don't seem like y'all don't know each other. And then, so they had to do the whole thing like, oh, well, we knew each other in high school. Like, I know her from high school. And that still wasn't really, meeting the mark for people. Folks were still, kind of skeptical about their relationship. And so they did not You know, but imagine that. Like, put yourselves in her shoes, in Michael's shoes. Like, they were hot and heavy in high school. They were high school sweethearts. They end up having something as binding together as a child. And she didn't have an abortion. Like, she literally had an adoption. Like, she had the baby. And so they were still together and around each other while she was carrying that baby. Like, there's some like heart ties and some really like core memory situations between the two of them that I can imagine once they were back in each other's spaces, kind of like, you know, tipped off a bunch of feelings and things that they could not control. But I'm sure Darius knew that. And I'm sure that he did all that on purpose. Right? Like, I think that he definitely manipulated that situation and did that on purpose so that he can get a storyline, because that's a hell of a storyline, isn't it? Isn't that a great storyline? If you're a reality TV producer and you got a personal, like, he went to his own friend group and pulled this shit together, this reality TV show together, not unlike Carlos going to a friend group and pulling a reality TV show together. See, the tricky thing about that is they know each other's dirt. Right. And depending on who's willing to go where and how far folks are willing to go for fame can kind of dictate on what type of show that's going to be and what types of things they're going to put out in the open about it. Like, who's going to say what? The unfortunate situation of it all is that the executive producer / creator is the person that has the individual relationships with all these folks and knows all the connections and know where the bodies are buried. And he's using that to his advantage to be successful. And what I forgot to tell y'all was Darius's character is also a Martell character. So Darius is not just Carlos. He's Carlos and a mixture of Martell. So he's like Martell's worst traits mixed with Carlos King. So mix that together and you get Darius. Michael is Martell's best traits. Okay. And that's just it. He's just Martell's best self. If you were to strip Martell of all the things that we can't stand about him and put that into a character and mix it with a Carlos King, you get Darius. You get Darius Carter. That's what that turns out to be. And so when you think about it, it's like, dang, like they just not really put in a good situation. But I would ask y'all this. What do y'all think that Jasmine and Sierra talked about at that party on episode 1? Why was Sierra just kind of standing up there looking stupid, observing the whole thing? We had a flashback where Sierra said, well, Jasmine approached me and said I was trying to steal her spot. Like, what else did they talk about? Right? Like, I'm very curious. And I'm sure y'all are curious. Like, what else did they talk about? You say he sounded like Ross. Sierra reminds me of Ariana. You think so? See, now I really wanted to see them together. Theirs is for sure true love. You're making it worse. Stop. Too bad combo character. It is. And it is cheating. It's still cheating. But I think that this is a complicated situation. But I still think that they should have tried their best to be honest about. I don't know. This is a complicated thing. This isn't the typical situation. Like, they were definitely manipulated into the same space. And that makes for really good, I won't say TV because this is not TV, but this makes for very good storytelling. So just know that there's more to come. So if you watch the next 2 episodes, you're going to get into the history of like how the affair started with Sierra and Michael. Y'all already see that Michael is kind of like in his feelings. He's kind of like, look, this is too much. I'm not even really that kind of dude. Like, and they don't even really seem like they like each other. Like they're bickering the whole time that we hear Michael and Sierra together. We're not seeing any like affection between them. If you're honest, like we know that they have something going on, but to this point, we have not seen them be affectionate or anything towards each other. Because of just the complexity of the stress of the situation, right? Like it is a very stressful situation that they're under. And so I think that's why we haven't seen them show any love or anything. We ain't seen that interaction yet. So you got to keep watching. when will the next 2 episodes drop? So Michelle, I played most of them here, but there are 2 that I have not played during this marathon. So you all can go to my playlists on YouTube, the Opinionation YouTube channel, playlist, click on Love and Rocket City, and you'll see all of the episodes there. Be sure to go back to chapter 4 because I broke chapter 4 into 2 pieces. And y'all only got 4A. So there's a 4B, and I believe that one was long, and I didn't play it because there's something going on with my computer that I can't access all of my episodes right now. It's weird. But if you go on there, I'm looking at it on my phone. I actually have the full episode 4 up. It's not even split 4A and 4B. So I have the full episode 4. Y'all need to go back and listen to episode 4. That's the one that y'all missed. And then we have 7, which you just heard, and 8, which you have not. If you're only listening to it here, make sure that y'all go and re-listen to episode 4, and then make sure that you listen to episode 8. Okay? And episode 8 is probably the longest one I have as far as minutes. Episodes 4 and 8 are the longest episodes. This next episode, I don't know how long it's going to be, y'all. I really don't. I recorded like a quarter of it, and then my house got busy. I had to stop. That's the other thing. Like, it has to be quiet in my house for me to do this because my headphones like can't be trusted. And I try to not do too much editing with the audio because it wears me out. It really does. So theoretically, the episode's supposed to drop on Tuesdays for non-members, y'all, and I'm like 2.5 weeks behind. But y'all go ahead and catch up. Make sure you join the Patreon too if y'all want to get stuff early. And I will hit y'all up when this next episode is available. Follow it on TikTok, and I appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Bye.
Silence! I can't take this shit no more.